Okay, why am I blurry again? This is weird. Okay, hey Scott, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Why am I blurry? Let's see. Let's see how many people we get on here
Upgrade
today.
that dial-up.
I know. I cannot wait for Live Oak Fiber to come in here to get rid of Cox. Cox has been great, but doing uploads, it kind of is terrible.
I bet.
So there's one person viewing right now, and it is me. Yay!
Yeah, there's 4.
Cool. Hey guys, how you doing? Post in the chats and say hi. Say hi. We want to see who's all on here and see how everyone's doing today. Why do I keep staying blurry? I would love to be able to
Keeping
see.
kids off of Netflix.
Yeah, I might have to. Why is it blurry? Hey Nick Chan, how you doing, buddy? So tonight what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to start doing with these lives and kind of what this new Facebook group is that we developed, the Quantum USA Facebook group. Basically, my name's William Harris. I'm the owner and CEO of Quantum USA Distribution Center in the United States. I'm the guy that, if you guys are using Quantum, I'm the one that brought it into America. It is manufactured in Australia, but we'll talk about all that kind of stuff here in a few minutes. I'm going to be your host for all these lives starting out from here on. We're going to be doing these every other week for basically the rest of this year and to continue on from here moving forward. I'm joined here by Scott Whitlow. He is our co-host for these. He's been a good friend of mine now for about 5-6 years. Met him when I first got into the aquarium industry, working in the industry. I met him at my very first trade show. So I'm going to let him talk a little bit about himself, give us a little bit about him, and then we'll move into a little bit more info. Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, we met. Seems like it's been forever ago we met. I've been in the industry or hobby, I guess, since, oh man, it's going to date me how old I am. 1989 was my first saltwater tank.
I was 2. So yeah, you've been
exactly.
in for a while.
Hey, I was only like 13, so I was, yeah. But I had a clown trigger and fed it goldfish and had an undergravel filter and did everything wrong that you could possibly do wrong. But just love the hobby and always have been in it since then, and been in on the importing side of corals and North American distributor for products and just a little bit of everything. Now I'm hobbyist and I've got a little company here in Georgia. We clean tanks and help builds and those types of things. But I've been dabbling for a while.
Gotcha. So what size tanks have you had?
So the biggest in the house is an 800, and then I've gone down from there. I'm in the process now of working with Joe at Glass Cages to get a tank 96 by 36 by 24. We had a little house fire and I lost everything, so now just starting over and so trying to get back into it with a little bit bigger show tank instead of the big fish room and all that this time.
Yeah, I know. I felt so bad when you called me and told me about your house fire. You're actually down in my neck of the woods when it happened, and I was like, no. So I'm just glad to hear that.
Yeah, shoot.
It really was just the basement and stuff like that instead of complete catastrophe, complete devastation. Hey, Richard Buck, how you doing, man?
Yeah, for sure. Thank God my sister-in-law was there and house sitting our new kittens, and had she not been there, we would have lost it. We were like 10 minutes from losing the whole house, but she was quick, got the fire department there. And I was close to you. I was closer to you than my own house for sure. I was planning on coming over, and then we're 3 days into our vacation and shooting back up to Georgia to come pick through our stuff.
That sucks. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear. And I know we talk about it all the time. I know you were saying that it's going to be like November before you're back into your house.
Man, yeah, they're talking at least another 10 months. I'm hoping sooner, but realistically, at least another 10 months.
Ugh, ugh. I could only imagine, man. I really, I feel for it every time we talk about it. I'm just like, ugh, and my wife is always like, just stop talking to him about it because it's terrible to hear. Like, but it comes up every time we
No,
talk about it.
yeah, no, it's all right. I mean, we've got most of the house. I got all my dad's stuff. You know, he played in the NFL for 10 years, so I would rather lose everything and keep his stuff. And, thankfully, the art restoration lady was able to save really like 95% of all of his stuff, his jerseys, helmets, all that stuff. So I'm super excited for it, at least to get that stuff back. I can replace the t-shirts.
Yeah, I mean, most things are irreplaceable. I mean, things like that are irreplaceable because of his legacy. But um, yeah, I'm just glad no one was there when it happened, so no one got hurt. I mean, other than the fish and corals, but that hurts, but it's understandable. And I know from talking to you that it was not really anything that you did wrong, according to like the fire department and whatnot. It was just a piece of equipment that failed. It wasn't even power strips like everybody sees. Power strips not getting the correct drip loops in them and stuff like that. Because I've seen what you've done when you were installing it all. So it's like it's nothing that you did wrong in any way, shape, or form. It's just I hate to say it, crap happens.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was driving home the whole way. I'm like, man, another Neptune fire, and not one piece of Neptune equipment was burnt, which was pretty cool to see because I've heard such horror stories with Neptune and those guys, and thankfully it wasn't that. We don't know. They took all the equipment that was left, from the ashes and took it to some lab. I still haven't even heard what it is, but you know, like you said, it does fail, and I'm just glad they didn't try to say it was negligence on my part because that would have really sucked.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of like, I mean, you see all the time on Facebook and social media. I see probably at least 3 to 4 times a month where someone had one of them cheap $5 Lowe's or Walmart power strips and they had 15 heaters and pumps and all that type of crap plugged into it. And that's what caught fire. Um, I've also seen a lot of people with the new panel rack mounts for like DJ equipment where they plug a whole bunch of stuff into that. But that thing's only rated for 15 amps, and people are still plugging in heaters and all that kind of stuff, and the switches are melting. And that's what
Oh
causes a
yeah,
lot of house fires with those cheap power strips. So, ugh,
yeah.
man.
No, when we built out the room, I had four different 20 amp breakers, so everything was kind of on its own little breaker. That way, it was nothing was overutilized. So yeah, we did everything right. It happened, and now I guess I get to get a brand new house out of this and rebuild.
One thing to the bright side is you, like I said, you get to rebuild your house the way you were always thinking about renovating it anyways, without having to pay
Yeah,
for it and actually utilizing
exactly.
the insurance the way you're supposed to. Hey,
Definitely,
Kara, how
definitely.
you
I guess
doing
after
today?
paying for paying for 30 years of insurance, it's nice to finally be able to use it and have
But
it
it's
there. And they've
not
been
at the
really
same
good.
time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they've
I'm,
they've been awesome. I've heard horror stories with insurance, but we're with farmers, and man, the guy's been phenomenal from the minute go. I mean, he had ServPro there less than 24 hours after the fire, trying to pull out as much as he could. So we're really lucky.
yeah, that's crazy. That's insane. Yes, we are live. I'm having people message me asking if we're live because they're not seeing us there. Hey, Anthony, how you doing, man? So Anthony is a good friend of mine, Scott, and you may have heard of him. Anthony Fernandez, him and I went to high school together. He actually owns a bagging company for like suitcases and stuff and sneakers. And I know I can't remember the exact name of it. Anthony, if you want to talk about it and tell us which one it is, I know I see your stuff all the time, and we've talked a few times about it. I just can't remember the name of it. But he's luggage company, like high end luggage, and a lot of the professional athletes and whatnot are using it to carry his shoes and their cleats and stuff like that.
Oh, nice. I have to get
So
some for some of my Jordans.
yeah, that's what he's really good for. That's what he specializes in. I'm gonna go look at his Facebook page real quick. Soul Premise, that's it. I was like, I know it's soul. I just couldn't remember what the last word was. Soul Premise, and it's some good stuff. I got to get with him and get me some because I need some good carry-on luggage and whatnot for all my bowling trips and everything. So, and my
I could have used
trade
it in the
shows.
basement.
No, we didn't need it in the basement. It doesn't need to get destroyed. We sell luxury travel bags and sneaker bags as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Oh, yeah, I'm looking there. So travel with your sneakers in the bag. I like that. Keeps them nice and together.
Yeah. Always got to throw out a good friend of mine, especially when we went to high school together, longtime friends. I mean, we're having our 20th year reunion this year. So hopefully I get to catch up with you there because I know you're down in Orlando and I'm still in the hometown. But yeah, so cool things there.
That's what this thing I think should all be about is, helping each other out. There's plenty of room in this industry, specifically this industry for everybody. But, it's growing up, everybody was putting everybody down and ours is better and they're terrible. It's like, why not work together, build each other up and help each other out? I mean, showing me his website. Well, good. I'm going to order this duffel bag for my shoes. Like, why not help each other out?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I told him. I was like, I got to get me some for my traveling because I do a lot, and I know a lot of the people on here see me traveling everywhere all the time, and it's nice to have good luggage to make sure your stuff's protected and everything. Hey, yeah, Diane. Hey, Colorblind Reefer. How you guys doing today? Hey, Carrie. So I'll tell you guys a little bit about myself. I've been in this industry since I was 8 years old. So this year will be about 30 years I've been in the industry. I started off with freshwater, as most people did. I had a little bitty planted community tank. It was a 20-gallon tank that my dad gave me for my 8th birthday. And then I went into quickly decided that freshwater was not my cup of tea. Did not like it. I did a full planted tank and I'm like, you know what? I live in Florida and I enjoy snorkeling and seeing the bright, vivid colors of the ocean. So I immediately went over to saltwater. And started traveling everywhere with my parents and all the fish stores that they had, or not fish stores, all the fish tanks that we had. Back in this area, there was about 8 to 10 fish stores within a 2-hour drive of us. So every weekend we would travel and go see all the different fish stores. We had one local fish store that we became really good friends with. And I kept asking them every time we went in there, how old you had to be to work. And they told me 14. So on my 14th birthday, the only thing I wanted for my birthday was to go to that fish store and get a job. I walked in and said, so what am I doing? Because I start today. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, today's my birthday. I'm 14. So when do I start? And my parents left me there and I worked. And ever since then, I've been huge. I've been extremely integrated into the aquarium industry, whether it's been freshwater, saltwater, wholesale distribution, multiple different products. I mean, that's kind of my all the way up until I was about 20, 21 years old. Then I did my 4-year stint in the military, let them pay for my degree. And then I got out and now I own Quantum. Decided to bring Quantum in just because of the quality of the products. Being around in the industry for so long, I saw many of products that were lacking certain things that they needed. Mainly the customer support side of the industry has always been, in my opinion, lackadaisical, where I'll sell you whatever you want, but I'm not going to support you or give you any help. You're just going to have to go to your local stores to get help. And that's kind of where Quantum is, as you guys have seen over the last couple of years. I've been slowly building it, but trying to build it in a way where it's going to be more customer oriented and be able to help drive successful reef tanks or successful fish tanks or planted tanks. And I know with you, Scott, you and I have talked many a times about what we can do with this industry, since it is moving more towards home stores, garage vendors, and more of an online industry versus a local fish store or your mom and pop stores, that it's moving more towards that. And we're losing the education side. And that's where this industry is really dying. So that's where myself with the Quantum guys out in Australia have been really working on trying to figure out ways to train without overstepping your local fish stores and stuff like that. So that's kind of one of the biggest reasons I brought it in is, as you see, go the wrong way. Our quote for Quantum is beyond the laboratory. We want to bring extremely versatile products and high-end pharmaceutical grade products to your home and allow you to use the same things that we're using in labs and grow out farms and stuff like that, wanting to bring that stuff to you at your house. So that's kind of the whole point and everything behind Quantum is ease of use for you and high quality products and the customer service part. So I don't know what else to say there.
Yeah, no, I've been using your product since you first started, and very clean. I don't have, the issues that I get with some of the other products that I've used throughout time. And, the coral cane is just a phenomenal food for me. I'm not getting paid to be on here. I'm doing this because, I love working with you and helping you, and I just love your products. And like I said, I think that's the first bit I got from you. I felt like a drug dealer was sending me drugs in the mail. They came in little dime bags, and
I
I'm
feel
like,
like
what are
everybody
you
said the
doing
same
now?
thing.
But yeah, I mean, and it wasn't raising the phosphate levels, and it's like, oh wow, so I can actually feed with some healthier foods and not have to figure out what I can do to export all these extra nutrients I'm getting in from some of these other foods and that, and it's been great for my tanks. I mean, I'm very happy with the product, and yeah, I think it's awesome.
No, I appreciate that. And that goes back to kind of what I was referring to a minute ago is the whole we're trying to make products that do exactly what we tell you they do and without causing the point of, I mean, we all know there's certain brands out there that sell you a product that will increase your phosphates, that will increase your nitrates, or they'll cause magnesium spikes or manganese spikes or other different types of issues where they have to sell you another product to fix that issue. Um, we don't believe in that. All of our stuff is tested in Australia. They work really well with a lot of the coral farmers out in Australia and a lot of the conservation efforts out of the Great Barrier Reef. So a lot of our stuff is tested on those in those type of environments to make sure. Couldn't manage to post. Oh, hey, Kara. Sorry. They're wanting to do that to make sure that the products are doing what they need to be doing, to make sure that they're not going to be causing any more issues or having any ill effects in the way they're being used. All the products are tested for multiple years. Yes, we do decide that we need to come up with a new product, and we'll develop the product and then go 5 to 10, 15 years of testing that product before it's actually put out to be released to the public. I've been using a couple products here at my house for about 5, 6 years now that still are not released out to you guys because we're still making little bitty adjustments to them and whatnot. Um, so that's kind of goes along with what you were saying there. So I'm so glad I got a
Yeah,
co-host. Now I don't have to sit here and blob the whole time.
no, I get it. No, I'm excited to try, some of the new lines that you've got coming out. I've been running, I mean, I've been running
Yeah.
moonshiners for a year and year and a half now, and I'm excited to try, some of the easy series in that. I mean, I'm using the signature series. I'm using the Easy E, Easy Z now,
Dude,
and
that's my
because
favorite
I've
products.
it's fantastic. It's made it a lot easier. I mean, granted, I'm down to a 40-gallon tank right now, but that's just temporary. But it's nice. It's allowing me to really test it, play with it, see the changes in the corals and that. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes and how far it really takes off, and see what we can do to help you guys. And just like I just saw, Carrie Meredith said, "Do you have a comparison between products yet?" That's something that we're not going to do. I'm not going to come out as a brand and say this is why Coral Cane is better than Benepets because I'm not here to brand bash. I'm here to educate you on what our product does differently and why we designed it this way. I'm going to let you guys, you as the individuals, the customers, the end users, determine what you want to use and why you want to use it. If you guys come on here and say, this product increases my phosphates, so I don't want to use it, that's on you guys. It's nothing that we're going to do, but what I am going to do when I come out with the product guides that we're working on, it is going to completely talk about what the product does, why we did it this way, and whatnot.
No, definitely. I mean, there's
Sorry, I reached up and turned on my ceiling fan a minute ago, and it just got really cold. So I was trying to get Alyssa to turn it off, but she hit the monitor, which moved the camera. So, oh well, things happen. Sorry, guys.
hey, we're not professionals. We're just here to have fun.
No, we're here to have fun and talk about things. Kara, I'm going to talk about those guides here in a minute. That's one of the things we do want to talk about today. But I want to tell you guys a little bit of history about Quantum. Quantum's been around since so about 16 years now. They started off as Ultimate Aqua Care only in Australia. They did most of their testing the years before they actually came out with that brand, came out with actually selling Ultimate Aqua Care. They were working with a lot of the coastal restoration projects and regrowth on the Great Barrier Reef for retransplantation. And once they got 90% of their products done and was able to come out with a complete line and wanted to go internationally, that's when they decided to rebrand into Quantum. Quantum was born, i.e., born in 2018. We brought it into the United States in 2019. So we've been here for a few years, but as everybody knows, COVID kind of hurt. So it's taken a little bit of time to start building off of that because nobody wanted to spend any money on a new product line. What does this do? It's brand new. I'm not wasting money on something I don't know. So it's taken a little bit of time to build the brand and get the name out there. Tank Talk with Tyann has been a huge success for this brand. Miss Tyann is an amazing lady. A lot of the people on her group are awesome. She's done really well for us as well for you, Scott. I know she's done a lot of stuff with you with your 51 Designs company and stuff like that. So Quantum also has, when they came out with the name Quantum, they decided to really reach out and go into more diverse regions, as in they brought in a lot of different freshwater products. We designed quite a few different freshwater lines. When those were designed, there was almost 35 products in the freshwater realm. We sat down and decided to combine them all down to where it's only about 12 products now. Same thing with the saltwater world. There was a metric crap ton of products out there that all did relatively the same thing, but would change it just a little bit to make it better for soft corals, better for LPS corals, or let's use this item for SPS only. Well, more and more research with customer base, they found that nobody has an SPS only tank, or maybe 5% of the people in the industry have an SPS only tank. 5% have a softy tank. It's more mixed tank. So we decided to change everything and redo everything into more universal for everybody in the industry. We do have the specialty items like you were talking about, the signature series, which is where we talk about the top 11 elements that are needed for saltwater tanks. And then we have all the different types that are out there, but just kind of making it easier for you guys. So yeah, make it a little bit easier for everybody.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's definitely an easy product. Like someone had mentioned earlier, the guide you made. You sent me one with my order a couple weeks ago, and it was really neat to see that, and just kind of breaks it down. We can all learn. Like, even though I've been in the hobby since before you were born, sadly, I'm still learning. I'm still learning all the time, and I mean, you've taught me a lot of things, and there's no one right way, right? Like, I mean, look at Nick. He is the king of DIY and like the cheapest way to do things, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in a positive way. You
Oh,
don't
dude,
need
that's what I
fifty
did all
thousand
the way
dollars
up.
worth of equipment.
Yeah, I did that forever. It's just recently where I actually started buying real products. I mean, my background's engineering, aircraft engineering, computer engineering. I've always been a tinkerer, do-it-yourself type guy, kind of like Nick is. And everything in my house, I mean, my fish tank, I completely 100% built everything: stand, glass, sump, lights, control boards. I have a full-blown Hydros Apex system on it that I built myself out of Arduino Raspberry Pis. So yeah, you can do all of that stuff. You can have an aquarium simple, cheap, without having to spend the, like you said, $50,000, $60,000, or you could spend the $50,000, $60,000 and have a really amazing tank. But you can also have it with $100. Just depends on where
Oh
you want to
yeah,
go and how you want to do it. Like
absolutely.
Tyan
I mean,
said,
I've seen.
100 ways to reef. 100 ways to
Yeah,
reef
yeah, you're
thing.
right. I mean, yeah, I mean, I've gone to people's houses and and it's you walk in and you're like, oh my god, they've got like a Ferrari sitting in equipment and the tank is terrible. Like the inhabitants of the the item, the fish, the corals, everything looks not like what you would think when you have a Ferrari driving driving the system. And I've seen tanks like Nick, who is took a 27-gallon Rubbermaid tote, cut the top off, and made a sump out of it. And it's like,
Yep.
look at his corals. I mean, they speak for himself. I mean, it's awesome. And that, like you talked with the TTWT, the DIY series was my favorite she's done, and she's done amazing shows, throughout the year that
Yeah.
I've worked. Whatever, 3 years, and that was my favorite series this last year. And just to see what people are doing that I've never even thought of. It's like, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
that series was awesome. I got with her a little bit too late because I wanted to get on that series and go through me growing up doing, because I mean, my fish tank still, I have 3 LEDs that I built on it, running it completely by itself. I mean, I ordered in the little Meanwhile drivers from China, wired it all up, soldered it, everything. And then I built an entire, like I said a second ago, I built an entire aquarium controller based off of a microcomputer. Did all of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's you could do it as cheap or as extravagant as you want, and it's fun industry to play and tinker and do those kind of things. However, I will say I have noticed a big difference in growth of corals where I went away from my crees, or one of my tanks has the Cree lights that I built on it, to another tank which has got the Radeon XR30s on it, and the difference between the growth is phenomenal. And my tank is doing, mine with the Crees, the do-it-yourself method, is doing great, but the Radeons are doing a lot better. And I think it's because they have the science and the experience and everything behind doing the different types of chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B that's needed for photosynthesis for the corals. So their spectrum is a little bit more pronounced. And that's kind of the same thing we all see when you look at, I hate to say it, your cheap lights, Noob Sight, or Radeons, your more expensive stuff. So it's kind of like you said, the
Is that a
Chevy
dig?
versus
Is that a dig
the
wheel?
the Chevy versus the Ferrari. When you get on the race course, the racetrack, yeah, you can have Chevys that will destroy a Ferrari all day long, but 9 times out of 10, that Ferrari will win. So kind of the same type of method there. One of the things I
Yeah,
do want
I'm
to go
excited.
through. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah, yeah, just kind of talking about that lighting. I've got some Orphic, the new Natura coming in. I'm excited to play with those. I've played with the Elu Magics, the X4's phenomenal lights,
I love them.
but got these coming in, so I'm excited to try it. And like you said, the lighting is definitely the one part for myself that I've always tried to be on the cutting edge for, whether it was, again, dating myself, VHOs, going that route with metal halides. Nothing beats a metal halide, but nothing produces heat like a metal halide,
So
and it's
I
just not
I
not
can't
for
say
me
anything
anymore.
about metal halides because when I got out of the saltwater industry and I joined the military, it was right when VHO T5s were the big thing. You can get T5 VHOs, and then I got out and went and joined the military. And when I was traveling, I just did a little 30-gallon freshwater tank. Um, when I got back, that was when Gen 1 Radions came out. So I went
Oh
straight
wow!
from T5s to LEDs. And then when I saw the price of LEDs, and I love the energy efficiency of the LEDs and what they could truly do and the total customization, because as everybody in this live right now, all of you guys know that LED or the corals under that blue LED is just freaking beautiful. There is nothing, there's no better than that, except for putting on a pair of orange glasses to get rid of the blue. Um,
Yeah, I can remember my 800. We had 8 400-watt radiums and then VHOs. I mean, our bill was like, and this is 2005, 2006. I mean, I was spending 600 700 bucks a month just in electricity, and it's like going from
but
that to nothing now. It's very minimal the cost.
right, right, yeah, I agree with you, Alex. LED T5 combo is a very good combo. It's what I use on most of my tanks personally. So one of the things I want to talk about tonight is I've had a couple people ask me about like product guides and things like that, and product comparisons. One of the things that Quantum out of Australia did design due to us talking about it and trying to come up with some good marketing material is we came up with this guide. This guide is available on our website. You can scan the QR code, or when you go to the website, it's up in the top. It says guides and logbooks. But what this guide does is it actually walks you through every step of setting up a saltwater tank, all the way from, I'm just going to go through it quickly, all the way from, go back a page. Oh, I'm on the wrong screen. Go back a page. All the way from what type of recommendations we need for tanks, the salts, all the way up to cycling your tank, to individual trace elements that people will need to set up their tank. It talks about the lighting, return pumps, I mean, it goes in depth into everything that you need. So another question that I've been asked a lot about lately is the difference between all of our salts. I know Miss Tyann in her 12 Days of Christmas, every single day she talked about how we've got 5 different types of salts. The 5th salt is a new salt that was directly developed based on something that I asked the Australia guys to develop for me. One of the issues that we have seen in the industry, and Scott, you can smack me if I'm wrong or correct me, is we've seen a lot of people stripping their tanks too much, meaning no phosphates, no nitrates. So we also, with our salt, we had 4 salts originally that were only probiotic salts. Well, the benefit of probiotic salts is it actually puts living bacteria into your salt. So when you mix it and you put it into your tank, you actually are helping feed your anaerobic and your aerobic bacteria, which will actually help lower your nitrates and your phosphates in your tank. It's not going to be a significant amount, but if you do this water change with this salt every single time, yeah, over a couple water changes, you'll notice a significant reduction in those levels. So one of the problems I was having here is all of our probiotic salts were causing that issue. So people were having to use a different type of salt just to be able to get those nutrient levels back up. So one of the things I asked them to develop for me was this new salt here, the mineral sea salt. This mineral sea salt here is the exact same salt as our mixed macro probiotic salt without the probiotics. That's really the only difference in that salt versus our probiotic salts, is it just does not have a probiotic salt. It's still an authentic sea salt. It's still a true natural marine salt that's derived off of the Great Barrier Reefs in Australia. You still get all the natural precursors, vitamins, and all that kind of stuff. I'm sorry, my wife just laughed at me. Vitamins and all the precursors and minerals and stuff like that from the reef. So it's a very beneficial salt. Our probiotic salt is, again, a natural sea salt coming right off of the reef that has all those natural vitamins and minerals in it. But it also helps feed that anaerobic and aerobic bacteria in your tank. The only difference between the SPS, the LPS, the mixed, and the Fowler is the true foundation elements, whether it's your alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, or potassium levels. Those all are based on the different areas in Australia of what those parameters are in the wild. So where they kind of vary a little bit in the ocean, that's where what we made these to look like. So where there's multiple different types, you've got the mixed macro probiotic salt, which is the 430 calcium, the alkalinity of 8, the magnesium of 1295, which is what your natural seawater is really close to. So we developed that based on kind of what you're after. We get a lot of people that are coming from like H&W's, Reef Crystals, or Instant Ocean who are trying to switch over to a newer salt. What we would recommend you guys do is do a 10% water change every week like you normally would do, and just substitute our salt right in. You'll have no issues. But what you're going to want to do is make sure that whatever salt you choose, your water parameters are close to the same. So if you're using like Red Sea Coral Pro, you'd want to go with the LPS salt. If you're using like Tropamarine's Pro Reef, you'd want to go with my SPS salt because those parameters are very close. And then swap over to where you want to keep your parameter salt. So if you want to keep your alkalinity at 8.0 and you're on reef crystals, start with the LPS, then change over to the mixed once your tank gets used to our salt and all your corals start growing drastically and everything. So our salt, all the salts are really the same except for the non-probiotic salt, just based on what the foundation elements are. And I know you, Scott, because you're a big stickhead, you're using the SPS salt. Well, I know you just swapped to the new mineral sea salt just to see what it does, but you before were using the SPS salt because it does have that lower alkalinity, lower calcium, and it's got the better nutrient levels for a low nutrient system. What's your thought on the salt, Scott? Hello. Hello. Okay, I don't know if he's frozen or what. Doot, doot. Where'd you go? You there? Okay. Oh, well, I'll keep going. So one of the other things that a lot of people have been asking us about is like, what's the difference in all of our products? This guide here will walk you through every one of our products in detail on how to use it, what it is, what the dosing recommendations are, where your parameters should be. Oh, you're unfrozen now. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Go internet.
Yeah, internet sucks. I was like, where did you go?
Yeah, no, I heard you talking about the SPS. Yeah, definitely been SPS pretty much I guess my adult life. Obviously, once we were able to start keeping them successfully, and I'm excited to try the new salt that we ordered last, I guess, week and a half ago. So I'll be starting those water changes this week, and just excited to try something new. I've tried every salt there is. I don't go by what people tell me. I want to try it for myself and see what I see, and because there's a lot of bashing of a lot of companies out there, and that just doesn't work for me. I'd rather try it myself and come up with my own conclusions. And I've been happy with your salt. I've been happy. So I mean, it's like I'm happy to try the new salt and see if that helps because I dose those trace elements anyways. So for
Right.
me, it's exciting to try.
Well, and it's also nice with our salt, with it being the natural salt, being derived off the reef, having those natural elements and everything in it. They're actually a lot more bioavailable than other elements that you can add to your tank. So I've noticed a lot with mine when I do my ICPs after I do a good water change with my salt, they're there, but then within a week or two, they're all being consumed because the corals are actually able to consume them and they're taking off. I mean, the colors and everything in my tanks have gone a lot brighter. I mean, everything's gotten a lot better in that. Yes, guys, I know I'm not on AOL. I don't have dial up, but my internet upload speed from my internet service provider sucks. I do have a new company coming in the next couple weeks, so bear with us for probably the next month and a half, and I'll be over to a better provider. I might get Scott to host this next time to see if his is any better than mine.
I've at least got fiber.
You have fiber, then we'll probably have you host it next time because I don't. They haven't upgraded to fiber out in my area yet. Carrie, to answer your question, good phosphate reduction agent other than lithanium? No, my products are all lithanium because that's what we like, because it actually will remove the phosphate out of your rock. However, ours is different than a lot of the other brands out there. And again, I'm not going to bash brands on here, but what I would recommend you do is go over to this guidebook and take a quick read about our phosphate remover. It actually talks about how it will break up the calcium triphosphate out of your rock. What it does is it goes in and actually breaks up that molecule of calcium and phosphate that's bound together inside the rock and will actually release the phosphate back into your water column so the lithanium can actually bind to it and pull it out through your filtration. So the benefit of this is, as everybody knows, when you use like GFO or aluminum oxide or phosphane or something like that, that you're actually only pulling the phosphate out of your water column, and then the rock slowly leaches it out. So you might have to do something like the phosphate or GFO for 6-8 months out of a time to get that level down. With using a pure pharmaceutical grade lithanium, you'll actually be able to break up that bind really quick and strip the tanks pretty quick. So I would recommend, if you are going to use a lithanium product like ours, to do it slowly and test very vigorously and quite often to make sure that you're not overstripping your tank. A lot of other brands out there have a lithanium product out there, but it is not a pharmaceutical grade, or it is a pharmaceutical grade that's pretty dirty, and it's got other products in there that will cause issues like HLLE and stuff like that we've seen in the past with other brands. So take a quick look and gander at this book just to kind of see what I'm talking about in there. It does go in a little bit of depth, and it also talks about where you should keep those products. But moving forward through these lives, we're going to go through this guidebook in depth, and we're going to spend an entire night on each section. So you've got the 4 steps in our guides that actually are your environmental parameters, your algae and nutrient reduction. Then it goes into your foundation elements, which is your alkalinity, calcium, and magnesium. And then it's going to go into the actual colors on how to make your tank brighter, which is the micro and macro trace elements. So we'll go through all those products later on in more depth. I'm just kind of giving you guys an overview about this guide tonight because I don't want to be on here for 2 or 3 hours tonight. We do recommend that you follow the guide in steps. Step 1, getting your salt set up, your pH and things like that balanced, and then getting rid of all the nutrients out of your tank to make sure you don't have major algae issues. Then going into setting up your alkalinity, calcium, and magnesium levels, because as a lot of you guys are experienced reefers on here that I see, you guys have noticed that when you get your tank up and running and you get a phosphate issue, and then you start getting your phosphate level down, calcium starts increasing, alkalinity starts changing, and all that's due to the chemical compositions of those elements being used up in your tank. So once everything gets dialed into where it needs to be, those elements become more available. So definitely, like you're asking, Kara, I don't know how to say your name correctly. I'm sorry. Question about the easy reefer. Should I get my phosphate and nitrate to where they need to be first, then start? I would 100% recommend you do, just because once you start dropping that phosphate level, even if you use the lithanium or a aluminum oxide product or GFO, you're going to start seeing your calcium level increase. So since it's increasing and you're doing the easy E on top of it, you're going to have an influx of calcium, which might end up to 500-600 parts per million, which is not good for your tank. So definitely get the nutrients under control first and then move into it. However, if you already have a lot of coral, you need to keep balanced. So you kind of got to watch everything and make sure you stay in that range. And we'll talk about dosing and everything on another episode. So we're gonna really go in depth on that. One of the other things that we're gonna do, I'm gonna get off the guides now because we can sit here and talk about this for hours, and I don't want to tonight. Go back to me and Scott's face. One of the other things that I want to talk about tonight is kind of the goals of these lives. Like I was saying, it's just going through and talking about the products, doing questions and answers for most people. We're going to try to spend 30 minutes about core topics every week, and then probably 15 to 30 minutes of questions on that specific topic. If I have no more questions about a topic, then we'll go into random questions just to fill that last 15-30 minutes if we need to. What do you got, Scott? Help fill me in. I feel like I'm talking too much.
No, it's great. No, like I said, I just didn't want to come in, or you'd asked me to do this, and I wanted to make sure, you're on. I've known you long enough that I know it's not like let's bash other products and that, and when you're like, yeah, no, that's not what this is about. I was like, hey, let's do this. Let's get on here, and it may bore some people, but hopefully you can learn something. Like I said, we're always learning, and I'm always into learning more than I know now, and just to make the hobby even more fun than it is.
Well, that and like I said from the beginning, the biggest thing about this is we're here for you guys. And one of the things we're gonna do is on Thursdays after the Wednesday night live, I'll do a recap on our Facebook group to kind of talk about what we talked about on the live tonight. And then on Thursdays, what I'm going to do is put a poll up of 4 different topics. That poll will be a poll for you guys to vote on what we're going to talk about next week. And then we'll find that part in the guidebook, and then we'll actually go through and talk about it. This will allow us to kind of use you guys to help give us feedback, but also give me a week's worth of marketing material to kind of talk about. So, for example, next week we're going to talk about pH. It gives me a week's worth of stuff that I can post and give insight onto why pH is good. Here's a couple different blog posts that we like about pH, why pH is so important for a tank and stuff like that. All that kind of stuff for you guys to be able to get thoroughly informed on that specific topic and be able to ask questions when it comes up. You might not know why pH is important or how it affects alkalinity day in and day out, but that's something you want to know when you read through a block and it doesn't answer it correctly for you. You can come on here and ask that question and I'll answer it for you. And if I don't know, I can always reach back to my team of chemists in Australia, and they're awake right now. I know he's on here because I just saw his name. So he'll be able to pop in and I can pull him right up on this live like we're on right now, and he can answer the question in much more detail than I can. I can take it from his chemist level and dumb it down to what all of us understand as well. What's up, Chris? How you doing, man? Hey, Corey. How you
I
doing,
think they'd
sir?
much rather hear his accent anyway, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would. They don't like my accent. Everybody in America hears me. So, also something we're going to be doing, just because I like to get everybody on here, is we're going to start doing monthly giveaways. I don't know what we're going to give away yet. We're kind of still talking about it. We were talking about just doing gift cards, but I'm also thinking about doing whatever product we're talking about for that night, doing like maybe a small sample size or something along those lines. Really don't know. So kind of want your guys' opinion on that. Would you rather gift cards or would you rather us talk about a certain product? Hold on, I'm going to let my dog in so he quit screaming. Sorry, you talk, Scott.
What are some of your products that you guys enjoy, or his products that you guys enjoy using? What is kind of one of your favorites?
Yes, Alex, I know everybody loves gift cards. I just kind of hate doing gift cards because it's always the same thing every time.
And we could do giveaways, like where let them pick a product they want to try, and something like that. Something maybe, hey, I've wanted to try coral cane. It's not available locally, or I've just found out about it, which is still crazy to me that people haven't heard of it. But I get it. It takes a while to build a brand and to get trust amongst us. I'm an end user. I mean, I bought wholesale retail from you when we started. Like, I was like, look,
Yep.
I want to try your product. I don't want any favors. I want to give it, that true in-depth. It's always a little different when stuff's free. You feel like you have to say how great a product is. So when we first started, I was like, let me just buy it and let me try it, and I'll give you my honest opinion. And I can't think of anything negative that I've found, and I've tried everything. Just makes my life easier. I'd much rather have something pre-mixed in a bottle, set it up on a doser, kind of hands off for me. I'm busy. I've got 3 kids. I'm always doing something. So it's nice to have a product there that I know is working for what I want it to do.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. I really do. You see where I'm at on that. Chris, yeah, what you've got going on in that big tank you have is absolutely looking incredible. It's looking really good. And kind of like what you were talking about, Scott, trying to get it out there. One of the things I do ask, and I know a lot of people are having issues getting my line, because it is not available on Amazon right now, because me technically being the US distribution center for it, for insurance purposes and whatnot, I'm considered the manufacturer in America. Even though I'm not, we import everything from Australia. They are the manufacturer. Everything is made in Australia and then shipped here to the United States. I am just the distribution center for them. So on our website, everything that I sell online is at MSRP, and you have to pay shipping, which I know that annoys a lot of people, but so I don't upset our local fish stores and trying to undercut them or undersell them, that's the reason for that. I know like Chris would be extremely upset if I went online because our mixed macro probiotic salt, for example, is $114.99. He would be extremely upset if I sold that stuff for $100 online and gave someone free shipping. He'd quit carrying my product. And our goal is to instruct, teach, and all that to the local fish stores and you guys as well. So if you have local fish stores that do not have our products, please let us know. I've got no problem you sending me a text message or a direct message on Facebook or making a comment, whatnot. Please let me know your local fish store and I will get it. I will get it over to them as quick as I can. I will make a phone call tomorrow and try to get into your store. So, and if you also
it's far
tell
easier for you
owners,
to ship a pallet than ship a single box of whatever caulk or whatever. It just makes sense. It's easier for you to deal with shops and that. And it is nice that we can come to you. But yeah, recommend local stores. I mean, there was nobody in Georgia. There's a couple stores here in Georgia now carrying it, which is nice. Again, shipping's killer for you guys. I mean, for the folks that are hobbyists, when these companies are giving free shipping, I mean, it is a huge cost to those guys. I don't know how they do it, to be honest. I've been in the industry
well,
as a North American distributor for a couple lines, and giving free shipping it's murder.
well, I mean, just for an example, like we're located. The distribution center is located in the Panhandle of Florida. For me to ship Chris team, his store is in Washington D.C. Okay, so for me to ship a bucket of salt to him, my cost is $58, and that's with me shipping 5 to 10,000 products a month. It's
Yeah, that's
still
crazy.
almost $60. So for a customer to spend $200 on a bucket of salt, that's ridiculous. I get it.
Yeah,
But people like saltwateraquarium.com, BRS, and those guys, they sell so much that they're able to give it away because it just works for them. They sell so much volume that they make up their money for it. So that's
yeah,
how they
yeah,
get
no
it.
doubt.
They hope you buy Reefroids, Coral Cane, things like that. That costs them $2 to ship it. They hope they sell 15 of those per every bucket of salt they sell. So that's one of the
Oh
things that
yeah,
you'll see when a lot of us now as distributors and online sellers and whatnot, when you see that shipping cost, it's like 58.24. That is exactly what FedEx or UPS charges us to do it. We have integrated rates due to those shipping companies that set that for us. We don't make a penny on that stuff. So it is just straight. I got to go down to the warehouse, pick it, pack it, ship it. That's my cost. We don't make, like I said, we don't make a penny on it. So I did just drop a link. It's the quantumusa.us. What is your favorite fish store? Anybody who wants to can go on there and fill out that form. That will tell me your local store, who to contact in there. Yes, Corey, if you're in the Panhandle and you're local, you can always do local pickup and come by the shop and pick it up. I've got no problem doing that, but that doesn't affect anybody. That doesn't affect my guys in Washington, D.C. or the guys in California or anybody like that. So, all right. So we talked about a giveaway. We're going to do a $50 giveaway tonight. The thing is you have to be on my live on the live to win the giveaway. So I kind of like how Tank Talk does her thing where you have to be present to win it. So what we did is we pulled everybody who was on the Quantum USA Facebook group and we put them on the great old wheel. Scott, if you want to pull it up, share me your screen if it's not shared already. And then we will pull it up and do a spin and see who's going to take home a $50 gift card to Quantum USA's website.
all right.
And let's see who's
Go.
all here. Just post and let
Hopefully
me
we don't
know
have
that
to
you're
go through
here.
50.
Do what?
So hopefully we don't have to go through 50 of these. People are
I
here.
hope not. Chris Hoover, are you here? We're going to give you what do you want to say? A minute? 30 seconds? What?
No, that's a lot of pressure.
How long do you want to give them?
I don't know.
30
You're
seconds
the
starting
man.
now?
This is yours. I'm just here to push the wheel.
There's 240 names on here, so or
I
231
know,
or
there's
something like
like,
that.
and I don't even know
229.
how many
Sorry.
people are in here. I feel like Tyan right now. I get to have the power of the wheel.
Yep, I gave
A
it to
lot of
you because
pressure,
I didn't
Tyan.
want to
I don't
do
know how
it.
you do it.
All right, so that's been 30 seconds. Go ahead and do it again. So, anybody got questions on anything that we can quickly talk about? I don't want to go in a lot of depth on anything tonight. I just kind of want to. I know he's not here. Go ahead and hit next. He doesn't even have saltwater tanks. He's on my personal list.
Oh, way to go. Way to go, Will.
Well, I invited all my friends to my group when I set it up. So a lot of these people are there. If one of those names pop up, I'll just say next. Amanda Filkins, are you here?
We're gonna have to do like
5730s.
numbers. We're gonna steal from Tyan and do a number each time and just have them post them, and that way we don't have 231.
So, Chris, you just asked if there's any new products coming. Yes. So the answer to that question is yes. I know you and I have already talked about it a little bit. One of the newest products that we have coming out is going to be our reef dip. The reef dip is an amazing dip. It is a oh geez, hold on. Let me just go grab it. That'd make life easier on me.
I was hoping to be able to talk about the reef dip. I got some, I don't know, maybe like a week and a half ago when he shipped me some stuff, but unfortunately with this crazy weather we're having, all my orders have been on hold.
Okay, Michael Fishman, are you here? What's fishy here, Will? Or Corey, sorry. All right, so our dual dip. I'm gonna go ahead and pop my screen to bigger and make yours smaller right now. Oh wow. Yeah, I can't do that. That don't work with a green screen. That's weird. Go away. I'll pull up a picture of it instead. So we've got the new dual dip. It's our Reef Essential line. It is a potassium salt. It is a potassium salt that is going to actually Tia Davis. She might actually be here. I know she's been trying to get me to get it into one of our stores up or one of the stores up in Kentucky. And him and I have been talking a lot about it. So hopefully it would be put it in front of me. Does that work?
Yeah, actually that does work.
Let's blow me up again. Let's see if it works. Now I just look sexy. I mean, it's our dual dip. I actually bought some corals from one of my stores out in New Orleans about 2 weeks ago, and it came in completely loaded with red planaria. And I was like, "What the heck is going on?" This is a 5-minute potassium salt dip, and after about admin's not going to win. After about 2 minutes, it killed off all those planaria, and I also ended up seeing acro black bugs. I had euphyllia eating nudibranchs that all fell off, and it worked really, really well. It's a good, quick 5-minute dip, and it works. It works really well. I don't know what else to say about it right now, Chris.
Yeah, no, you sent
I
me
can't.
those pictures. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to get it into your hands and let you see it with all the new stuff that you're getting from Rubio Corals. See how it works down there. Yeah, so I'm gonna text Scott a number. We have what 15,
Yeah, this sucks.
17 people on here right now. So what we're gonna do, let's just do everyone start typing a number between 1 and 20, and I just texted Scott a number, and that's the winner. There's way too many
Oh, I
people
don't
on
even need to
here.
spin the wheel.
No, that's just just everyone guess a number, and whoever's the closest wins.
Oh, that's weird.
Well,
We'll
then
do
what do you want
better.
to
We'll do better.
what do you
We're learning from this.
what do you want to do next week? We'll
We're,
do
ooh, those are some good ones.
a number, or we'll do numbers kind of
And if
like Diane does.
yeah, and if two people guess the same number and they're the closest, then they both have to win. Will.
Well, I'm going to say the first person to guess the right number. How about that?
Okay.
So far,
But
no
there's
one's
lag.
wrong.
What about the lag?
Go ahead and
15.5.
shoot
I
me.
love it. Hey, we're learning. We're trying to. We've got a lot to learn. We're trying. Sure, she's got it down. We've got to learn from the master.
Yeah, I mean, we'll figure something out better for next week. Christine, you win.
There's your winner.
14 was the number.
14.
So, Chris, we'll add a $50 gift card to your account, and that will make it a lot easier for you to get some stuff for you. Or I'll get with you offline and we'll figure it out. I will say this: another thing I want to say about this is we're going to strictly stick to saltwater for the next couple of weeks or probably couple of months. I do have an entire freshwater line that goes simple freshwater all the way into advanced plant keeping. However, I have not had a freshwater tank in 15 years. So I just set one
I
up
have a
the other day and have started using the products. So I need to sit down and learn the products. I know them on the chemistry side, but I need to be able to drop it down to how I can talk about all the saltwater stuff. So I want to spend the first little bit going through all the saltwater products, and then we'll venture over into the freshwater side. Chris, I know you and I have been talking about the freshwater products. So I think I'm going to get with you since you're one of my stores and see about possibly getting you to be my next co-host instead of you, Scott, because I know you don't know anything
I know
about
nothing.
freshwater. So
Hey,
might
I've
get
got a
Chris.
beta fish downstairs. My daughter won at the fair 3 years ago, so I'm pretty impressed with my
That's
freshwater skills keeping this thing alive.
that's pretty good. Yes, Corey, you use RODI freshwater to mix your salt. Congrats, Chris. Does anybody have any other questions? Like I said, I don't want to be on here forever. I want to make these kind of short, quick, to the point. I know tonight was a little bit of rambling. We had an agenda set and it kind of went off guard, off base, but it works out well. Everyone seems to have had good time. So, anybody have any final questions before we let you guys go for this evening? What's your thoughts, Scott? You got anything? Anything extra to add or anything?
No, no, it's just great to see everybody in here and, listening to a couple of boobs that don't know much about much. And we appreciate you guys coming in here and hanging out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be cool when we really start going in more in depth about the products and talking about it. Alex, I'll probably bring you on one of the lives here one day just to have fun with you because you used to be on the lives and everybody loved your big old beard and let them see what you look like now. I don't even know if you have the beard anymore or not.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have other people. And like, if someone wants to show off their tank, they're more than welcome to come on and show it off. And I think we can have some fun with this. This doesn't need to be like an infomercial. And that's, Will made it very to the point with me that it's not an infomercial. Yeah, it's learning about quantum, but it's not to try to get you guys to buy and shove it down your throat. It's more just to learn and see what his products do and what works for you guys. And yeah, it's always about learning.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I really want to focus on here is teaching you guys more about the industry and going more into like we were talking about with the phosphate, what it does, how it does, why it does it, what's beneficial for it. One thing to throw you guys a little loop, you guys know hair algae is fed by phosphate that's actually bound up in your rock. Not many people know that. So that's something that we'll really start talking about when we go into these things. And I don't care what products you use. We can talk about whatever products are out there. I've used darn near everything that's out there. Um, and we can help you with really anything that's going on. Obviously, this is a quantum live and it's going to be about quantum products. So we're going to talk mostly about quantum products. But if you're using NOPOX for it, we can talk about what's going on with NOPOX and why it's not removing your phosphates or why it's not reducing your nitrates the way you think it is. It's just because you don't have enough phosphates for the nitrates to eat off of. So there's lots of things there that we can talk about and go in depth on. But this is a quantum, I keep wanting to say podcast, but a quantum live. So we are going to focus mainly on quantum products, but we're going to be more focusing on how to run a tank, how to fix the issues, what the chemistry is, and why it's the way it is. So I don't want to just bore you
We get to
guys. And
update our resumes, Will. We're podcasters.
yeah, and I really don't want to. And I know, Tyann, you asked me about the pricing for the non-probiotic salt. I don't really want to go into pricing or anything like that on here, but MSRP for the non-probiotic salt is $94.99. I did price it that way to kind of be in comparison with Red Sea and all the other big brands that are out there.
Hey,
Um,
you can thank me for that one.
yeah,
I
that
made
was it.
I made sure you didn't. I needed a good salt that didn't cost $100 plus because let's be honest, this is a very expensive hobby. This isn't even if you're doing it on the low end and you try to do it as cheap as you can, it's still expensive. I mean, $100 for salt is a lot of money. So if you can get to that sub 100, yeah, it's close, but it's still it's set sub 100. It makes me feel better, and I'm excited to try the salt and get rid of some of the other salts that we've been using, but um, you know, definitely make it more affordable to keep people in it. I mean, I've got so many people through the industry that I've known for 25 years that they all leave. They leave, they can't afford it. You keep killing corals,
Yep.
and it's like if we can find a way to do it the most cost effective with products that really work and do what they tell you they're going to do, and you're able
And
to be
simple.
successful with your corals, well, you're going to stay. Yeah, and simple. Like people, someone said it, the kiss. Absolutely, that is the method that I go with. Nothing makes me feel more defeated than putting $100 torch in my tank and it just melting away. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. And then I can see why it drives people away from the hobby.
Yeah, and that's kind of back to where we were talking about quantum. One of the biggest goals about quantum is the KISS method. Is we want to keep it stupid simple for you. We want to make it where you're not at a chem lab playing in your tank 24/7. We want you to be able to sit back and relax and enjoy that tank. The biggest thing I hate, I mean, I'm always dealing with tanks. I mean, I've got, oh crap, Corey, at the shop, there's what, 3,000 gallons roughly? 3,000 gallons of tanks there that I maintain. I've got 4 at home that I maintain. I got a couple customers that I maintain. My parents have tanks. I mean, I probably deal with 75 to 10,000 gallons of water all the time. I don't want to come home and just sit here and here's all this testing I got to do. Here's this, here's all that. And I want it to be simple. I want it to be easy. And I don't want to have multiple other cabinets to dose 100 different things at one time. So granted, some people like that. Some people get nerdy off of that and they enjoy it. Me personally, I get nerdy off hanging out with my kids and my wife, not doing that. So it really just comes
Absolutely.
down to you, and we have methods for every single which way that you can do your tank. And that's kind of what we're going to go through and talk about in these lives is simplicity and making it affordable and achievable for everybody. So
Yeah, I've noticed like the last year and a half, I've really kind of focused on hands-off approach. I mean, there was never a day go by that I didn't have my hands physically in the tank water. And
yep.
I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop. I want to see if I'm doing more harm than good. In the last really year and a half prior to the fire and that, I kept my hands off, and my tanks have never done better. And it's like
Yeah.
just keep your hands out of the tank, let it do its thing.
The
Do your testing. I do enjoy testing. That is fun. I mean, I do cheat now and have the Trident NP and the regular Trident, but that's just to kind of give me an idea. And I've been in it so long, I can typically see by color loss or whatever algae's growing that what I need to do. But for the most part, I want to keep my hands out of the tank and just kind of let it do its thing.
Yeah, I'm with you. The biggest thing about this industry is the more stable you can keep a tank. If you can keep that tank stable, your tank's gonna thrive. Kenneth, I see your post. What I want to do for that is I want to get with you offline. I'm gonna have to get with my chemist and see if he can give me the probiotics that are inside of it, to see what's going on with the phototrophs, like you're talking about in your PNSB. Um, I don't personally see a problem with it because the probiotics is just a form of anaerobic bacteria to help feed it. So let's chat offline about that. Let me talk to our chemist before I go on live where everybody can hear and see, so I can make sure I'm giving you the correct information without false information being spread. So let me get with you offline, and I'll get with my chemist, and we'll see what's going on there to see if there is any effects or anything. But that's a great question. No, it's too big to see. Let me save that question real quick, actually. No, there it goes. All right, cool. Got it.
That's when
All
I got
right.
to reach out to you when someone asks that kind of question, because that's way over my head.
Yeah, and you guys, if you guys ever have big, deep and big questions like this or whatnot, feel free to reach out to me. And Kenneth, I'm definitely interested in chatting more about this with you. So makes my nerdy side come out a little bit.
You do enjoy that. That's too much for me. I just come to you and say, "Hey, this is what's going on. What do you think?" All right, cool. Okay, that makes sense. Speak to me like I'm 5.
That's the play. That's the plan, and trying to take the chemist level down to everybody for them to understand. Now,
Absolutely.
I don't even know how to say your name. I've met you 100 times, and I still don't know how to say your name. Sorry. So getting a finer coral cane for SPS is not possible because the way it's actually all wrapped up in the fat lipids. We use the fat lipids to bind everything inside of it. That way, there's no phosphate filters or nitrate filters in there, and there's no binding agents at all. It's all wrapped in fat lipids, which is a kind of like a carbohydrate for your corals. But there is included that little bitty activator rod, as they call it. It's just a little acrylic rod. What we recommend you do with that is actually before you start soaking the coral food is actually break it up and smash it up with that rod. That will actually break those fat lipids and flatten the item out. That way, when you dissolve it, I say dissolve, it's not going to dissolve, but when you put it in the water and start soaking it, that product will become a lot finer for your corals, for your SPS corals. I've got millies and everything, millies and tenuous that love the coral cane. Every time it touches the water, their polyps go absolutely ape crazy wanting it. And then when you feed it to them, you can see their polyps just grabbing it and absorbing it really quick. So smash it up really well and then soak it for a good 3 to 5 minutes in the bioenhance, and your SPS will go absolutely crazy for it. And I know
I use
you,
the
Scott, have a lot of SPS corals. So if you want to talk about that, go for it.
Yeah, no, I use when I use the coral cane, I was using the little rod, but man, it's just my carpal tunnel and trying to use that thing to crush it. So basically, what I do, I take a plastic spoon and just the backside of it, and I just kind of roll it and
Yep.
crush it up as good as I can, soak it into the bioenhance. I'll sometimes put Fido in there as well, whether it's live, fresh Fido or your Fido. I do use both. And then I'll let it sit usually 3 or 4 minutes and do something different and then come back and then I'll dose the tank. But yeah, I do like it and it'll really kind of crush it up a little more
Yep.
fine for you guys and you'll see the corals just go nuts for it. I
So coral.
broadcast. I'm too lazy to target feed. Just to answer Corey's
Yep.
question,
I
I'm
was
a
about to post it up.
broadcaster. Yeah, I'm too lazy. I just don't have time. That's my personal thing. If I had more time, I would probably do a little bit more. But I'm a heavy feeder anyway. So when I broadcast feed, I think that really everything's getting it for me. But I do see people that target feed for sure.
So my tanks and Corey, mine at the shop. It's target fed once a week and it's broadcast fed once a week. Um, I will be a little bit more honest on that. It's broadcast fed probably a lot more than it's target fed because it only gets target fed when I'm there. But the cool thing about the coral cane is with it being wrapped up in those fat lipids, it actually stays in the water column. It doesn't sink or float. I mean, your big particles will sink. So if you have like LPS or big AKNs or big chalices or things like that, pour it in over top of those guys so the big particles will land on them. But then the rest of the particles will actually stay suspended in the water column while your power head's running, and then your corals will just pick it out while it's floating through the tank. Another really cool thing about this product is it actually has natural reduction agents for protein skimmers. So as your tank is running and your system's still running with all the other brands of food that's out there, your protein skimmer usually overflows. Usually your protein skimmer will overflow and cause a big mess in your sump and whatnot, so that all brands tell you to turn off your protein skimmer. You do not have to with our product. You'll actually see your protein skimmer reduce its output by about 40 to 50% in just the bubbles that it's skimming at that moment. And about 45 minutes to an hour later, your protein skimmer will return back up to its normal operation. And it's pretty cool. No, nobody touches my tank except for me, Corey. We all broadcast feed it and feed the fish, but nobody goes playing in the tank except for me. That's kind of my baby. All right. Any other quick questions? Because we've been on here for about an hour and 15, 20 minutes now. So I don't want to sit on too long. We'll go more in depth about Coral Can and everything later. Anybody got any other questions about the live and what we're going to be doing, or things you would like to see us do a little bit different?
And we could definitely make them faster. They don't have to be an hour every time. They can be 30 minutes, whatever.
No,
I'm
the
happy
goal,
to be on here. I don't want to bore them.
yeah, like I said, the goal, my original goal is 30 minutes of information, 15 to 30 minutes of information. You and I asking questions back and forth to each other about information, and then going into the question and answer type open forum. And we can bring people on, and even they can chat and talk about it if they want. It just depends on what we're talking about and how much in depth we're going to go. Sorry, Corey, you won't fit in that tank. It's only a 180. I won't fit in that tank.
Then I definitely won't fit.
Nah. All right. Well, I got no other questions coming in. So what we're going to do is we're going to call it a night tonight, guys. I want to thank you guys for jumping on the first live that we're having in 2025. Again, we're going to do it twice a month. We're going to do it on the second and fourth Wednesday of every month. And again, 30-minute lives about information about topic, and then 15 to 30 minutes about open, kind of more open forum type question and answer type things. We will do show and tell. My main display tank is not at my house. It's actually at my warehouse. So I do not have that tank here. I do have a 120 here that I just freshly reset up. It is in the process. It just got all new lights on it. I did put the Dilua X4s on it. I did put a whole entire hydro system on it. It has custom sump that I built, all new dosing equipment, everything. It is being completely reset up to become a new show tank for me to do lives in front of, but not right now. It's still very basic and beginning, and it's got a crap ton of red mushrooms everywhere.
About 10 months, I'll have a nice big tank we can do it. I mean, I'm happy to show my huge 40-gallon that has, I think the equipment's 14 times the cost I paid for the little 40, but I'm happy to show it. My wife, she's laughing. She's like, why do you keep, like, I put the Trident on it and then the Trident NP. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I'm bored.
Did you put the Trident NP
I
on
miss
that
my
40?
toys. Yeah.
Come on.
I'm bored. Hey, I have nothing. I lost it all. I gotta have some fun.
Yeah, and you got to keep it running or it will dry rot. So I don't blame you.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, Rick, I would love to come by, but I know you're quite a bit further away from me. You're a little bit closer to Scott, but you're still quite a distance away from him as well. So,
Hey, I'm always up for a road trip.
yeah, Corey, we might bring you on one day and let you show off your tank and talk about what you use and go into depth with that. I do want to do a lot of lives where our customers talk about what they're using with Quantum and things like that, and ask questions and talk about what they use and talk about how we've helped you and stuff like that as well. Just like Kara, I know you and I talk at least every year in person when you come to the shop and whatnot, and definitely would love to see your tank and talk about it and go a little bit more in depth about it as well. Hey Gary, how you doing, sir? So I guess let's go ahead and call it a night, Scott. We'll reconvene in 2 weeks. Sure. And like I said, guys, watch out for the Thursday post. That's going to be a lot of information for me to know what we're going to talk about the next 2 weeks. Let me do a lot more blog posts and things like that so we can get more information to you guys and see what you guys would like to learn more information about. So that's the whole goal about this.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Appreciate everybody's time, and yeah, Happy New Year. Great to hang out with everybody.
I was going to say Happy New Year's to everybody, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.